Good morning and welcome to Maths with Miss Live. We are up to lesson 10. Fantastic. Okay, so welcome. I'm a little bit tired this morning because at 6 o'clock this morning I was racing off to my school and my classroom because I'm actually changing classrooms over the summer. So I had to get some things organised. So if I'm a little bit sleepy and I'm not quite with it and I make any mistakes, do let me know, okay? I will do my best. I will do my best. Okay, so 2 pens, you know that now. Different colour for marking. A ruler so you can set your work out neatly. A notebook if you have one. And no calculator. Don't need one of those. But we do need, put it in the chat. What am I going to say? We do need a lot of your focus and attention and your brain. That's what we need today. Half an hour, 10 o'clock every morning. Your focus, your attention, and your fabulous brains. Okay, that's what I need from you. Goodness me, I've got lots of messages. Oh, we've got brains. First steps dancing from home, says brains. Well done. Fantastic. Gosh, I've got a lot of shout outs to get through. We'll come on to those in a moment. We do a 10 by 10 grid, but today is the last day. So if you don't have it in your books, don't worry for now. We'll be starting a new one tomorrow. I'll put it up at the end so you can get it copied down into your books ready for tomorrow. Fantastic. So I have had some really, really nice messages coming in. Thank you. Mr. Newbie Pants, I do think you have the best name of everybody who listens. And you've said that to celebrate me getting 250 subscribers, can you believe it? I started with about 12 and now I've got 250 more actually. Mr. Newbie Pants wants a 1 hour lesson to celebrate. I will see what I can do. You're trying to wear me out. Aaliyah has also sent me congratulations on getting 281 subscribers. I am absolutely over the moon. I don't know what it is now, but as long as you guys are listening and enjoying it, that's all that matters. So hello and thank you to both of you. I've got some shout outs for Lucas, for Janeth, for Dan Fan, for Rena and Ryan, for Ishani and Jagger, Emily, Amy, Oscar, Rose E, Betty, Guru Prasad, Josie, Amy, Flower Poppy, great name, Ava and Ibrahim. And I can see there's some more coming in. I will try and catch up with those later. Now, I mentioned Josie, and I forgot to do this yesterday. I'm going to do it quickly now. Josie has given me a present. Look, I've got a pointy stick. I'm so excited. So I've got to try and remember to use it in my lessons today. If I don't, you need to let me know. You need to remind me to use my pointy stick. So I'm very excited. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use it, but I'm very excited about having it. Okay, I think I need to stop talking. I think we need to get started. We're going to quickly run through the answers from yesterday, and then I'll be putting your questions up in a moment. Right, so the review questions from yesterday. The factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. Question 2. The side length of the hexagon, each side is 6 centimeters long. Question 3. You can get 60 liters in an hour. This one was, hopefully, some of you will have seen the trick here. If it's 500 milliliters in 30 seconds, it's 1 liter in 1 minute, and therefore 60 liters in an hour. The difference between 17 and -7 is 24. And finally, the number that Sedita chose was 81. Excellent. So those are your questions from yesterday. Let's start off with our first 10 questions. Let's go. You've got about 30 seconds to go. Part 2 coming up. Okay, about 30 seconds to go. And part 3. Okay, you've got about 30 seconds left. Okay, let's go through some answers. Now, there's 30 questions. Well, it's not always 30 questions, but 30 marks. Some have more than 1 mark. But I keep forgetting to remind you to please put your scores in. Please put your scores in. Yeah, okay. Marks out of 30. I want to know how you're getting on. All right, because I know that you're doing really well, and some of you are getting better and better each day. So let's get those marks in. Okay, let's do some answers. Okay, part 1. Question 1 is 111. Now, the trick to that one is remembering that if we add the digits of a number which is a multiple of 3, and those numbers sum to 3, or a multiple of 3, then that number is in the 3 times table. So the trick to this first question is that 111 is in the 3 times table. And therefore, I don't have to look at any of the other numbers. I know that it's 111. Question 2 is 58. Question 3 is 88. Question 4 is 89. Question 5 is 47. Question 6 is 13. Question 7 is 99. And question 8, 9, and 10, that's the 3-mark question, our Parents versus Kids Challenge. If we flip a coin and roll a dice, what's the probability that we get heads and an even number? The probability is 1/4. And we'll be looking at that question on the board later. Let's move on to part 2. Question 1 is 132. Question 2 is 4. Question 3 is 68. Question 4 is 363. Question 5 is 3. The initial number Peter chose was 3. Question 6 is 69. Question 7, the prime numbers between 70 and 80 are 71, 73, and 79. Question 8 is 1. Question 9 is 59. And the Parents versus Kids Challenge, 2020 divided by 20 gives us 101. Okay, where it says UK Maths Challenge question, these questions appeared in the UK Maths Challenge, which was set for years 7 and 8 last week. Finally, part 3. Part 3. So we have question 1, 660. Question 2 is 1/3. Question 3 is 46.21. Question 4 is 92. Question 5 is 19. Question 6 is 93. Question 7 is yes, 18 is a multiple of 6. And the Parents versus Kids Challenge, again, it's worth 3 marks. The fractions that are less than 5/8 are 1/2, 2/8, and 7/16. Again, we will be looking at that question on the board in a little bit. Okay, so it's out of 30 in total. Pop your scores in the chat whilst we're putting up our last 10 numbers on our Beat the Clock Fabulous board. Let's spin around to this now. Okay, so we've got 10 numbers to go. I hope I've done this right. If I haven't, then we're going to be in a pickle, aren't we? I've missed the number out, but let's hope not. Okay, so
That one.
All right, so Rose is going to read the numbers out for us. Go ahead, Rose.
11.
Okay, so you then start. Yeah, start with this one. Yeah.
58.
58.
We haven't done that.
Yeah.
88. Haven't done that.
Yeah, excellent.
89. 89. Oh, you've done that by all the ones we haven't done.
Yeah.
99.
Hold on. 89.
99.
99. Yeah.
So those
Anything else? Okay, here's
no,
part 2.
68.
68. Brilliant. Yep.
69.
69 is there. Yep.
71, 73, and 79.
Oh my word. 71.
73.
73 is
79
done.
there.
79 is here.
59.
59.
Then we only have one more that's 92.
Is that it? Have we done it?
No, 92.
Amazing. Right.
We haven't done 92.
We have now. Oh, there it is. That answer there to part 3, question 4. Okay. All right. So our board is done. It's covered. So between now and tomorrow, we've got to clear it all off and start again. And what you guys, I will pop it up at the end, but what you guys are going to do is put one of these in your books ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be starting again with a completely blank board. Okay. And then 10 days later, we're going to fill it again. Excellent. Okay. Let's do some maths. Okay. Can you see me? Okay. Let's bring this in a little bit. Don't forget, I've got to remember to use my pointy stick. My first question is a probability question. Maybe I was a little bit mean giving you a question this hard. You could get a question like this. Did you know, on a GCSE paper, on a foundation level paper? That's why I've called it a GCSE teaser. All right. So don't say that I'm not going to stretch you in these lessons. We're going to have fun and we're going to do some learning, but sometimes I'm going to really push the boundaries as well. So the question was, you're going to flip a coin. Here's my coin that I prepared earlier. Here's my coin with my pound sign. Okay, so my head and my tails. There's my coin. All right. And here's my dice. Now, the question was, what is the probability of getting heads and an even number? Okay, so a 2 or a 4 or a 6. Let's have a go. So we want, let's just put a little title of probability. If you've got a ruler, you can underline it as well, so it looks really neat. So we want the probability of a head and an even number. Okay, so let's think about how we do this, and I'm going to introduce you to something which is one of those words or phrases that's really confusing when people say them, but actually what we're just drawing is a little table. It's called a sample space diagram, okay? Sample space diagram. Sounds more scary than it is. I'm going to write it down. Sample space diagram. But all it is a table. So I've rolled my dice. Okay, here's my dice or my die. And I can get anything from a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6. Yeah, makes sense? Okay. And going this way, here's my coin. Can you see that? You can have a head or you can have a tail. So I can have number 1 and heads. I can have number 2 and heads. Number 3 and heads. Yeah. As I go through, I've got all those different combinations. 1 and heads, 2 and heads, etc. Okay. But I can also have the tails option. So I've got 1 and heads, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, but I've got exactly the same for tails. 1, 2, 3. So remember what it said, it has to be a head and an even number. So now let's have a look at what we've got. So it's got to be in this row, because it's got to be a head, and so I can ignore all of those. It's got to be even. So it can be this one, it can be this one, and it can be this one. So you've got a choice of 3. Okay, it could be any one of these 3 out of the total number of possible outcomes. And there are 12. There's 6 there, there's 6 there, there's 12 in total. So I can write that as 3 over 12, but I can also simplify it down to 1/4. But I'm going to show you. I've just realised I'm getting told off that I'm not doing this. 1, 2, 3 out of 12. 3 out of 12 simplifies down to 1/4. Are you happy now? Okay, let's keep going before I get too distracted. But I'm going to show you another thing that you can do, which is a nice little technique. You know that you've got 2 different options here. So I'm just going to write the number 2 there. And I've got 6 different options here. 6. So a really nice technique is to realise that just in the same as if you were working out the area of a shape, if I do 2 multiplied by 6, I get 12. I get the total number of options that are possible. Okay, so that's just a really nice little trick to make sure you've got the correct total number of possible outcomes. Good. Okay, that was a long explanation, but I hope it makes sense. The answer was 1/4. I'm going to do a couple of division questions now. So again, you know the story now. If you need it, pause it or come back to it if you need to finish writing it down. Do you know what? I bought the biggest whiteboard you could buy, but it still isn't big enough, is it? A maths teacher can never have a whiteboard big enough for all the calculations they want to write it. Okay, so division. You had quite a few division questions today. So I'm going to just go through a couple of them. We have 264 divided by 66. Okay, I don't know my 66 times table. Don't know about you, but I don't. But I do know that I can write a division calculation as a fraction. And luckily, I do know my 2 times table, and I know that both of these are even numbers. So I can turn this into 132 over 33. Now, 33 is not an even number, but I do know it's in the 3 times table. So I can divide that. So I've divided by 2. And now I've divided by 3. Done exactly the same to the numerator as I do to the denominator. I know that this is divisible by 3 because if I add my digits together, I get 6. 6 is a multiple of 3. Therefore, this number must be in the 3 times table. So 132 divided by 3 gives me 44. And now, hopefully, you can see both of these are in the 11 times table. Let's just write it out for completeness. The neater you can set out your work, the more likely you are, firstly, to get it correct, but secondly, if you do make a mistake, you can see really easily and therefore you can correct it. Okay, so that was part 2, question 2. We also had another one, which was question 10 in part 2. Again, this was taken from the UK Maths Challenge. Okay, again, I would simply convert. This one's even easier when you turn it into a fraction. Let me make a bit more space. Sorry, let's come down here. So I've got 2020 divided by 20. I can divide the numerator and denominator by 10. Whoops. And then by 2. And my answer is 101. All right, now I said we were going to look at that fractions question. Let's do that now. Again, I'm going to clear the board. I really like that division trick because did you see what we did? Instead of having to divide by 66, we divided by 2, we divided by 3, and we divided by 11. And 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 11 gives us 66. Where's Joe? Where's Joe? He wants his pointer. Right, let's go with our fractions. So we had to say which fractions were less than 5/8. Okay, this is a SATs question, one of those tricky SATs questions right at the end. Now, if you were given 5 fractions and you were asked to put them in order from smallest to largest, I would say you need to turn them all into equivalent fractions with the same denominator. However, if you want to, you don't have to do that for this question because you're looking at each one individually to see if it's less than 5/8. So the first number is 1/2. As an equivalent fraction, if I multiply the numerator and the denominator by 4, I'm going to get 4/8. So that is less than. So I can stop. I've done. I'm finished. The second question was 2/8. Well, that is clearly, don't have to do anything, do I? It's less than. Because they've already got the same denominator. The next one was 3/4. If I turn that into an equivalent fraction with 8 as the denominator, I get 6/8. That's more than. So we can give that one a little cross. I've got 2 more to go. I've got 7/16. So now instead of changing this into an equivalent fraction, I'm going to change this one. And I'm going to say that 5/8, if I multiply the numerator and denominator by 2 to get an equivalent fraction with 16 as my denominator, I get 10/16, which is obviously bigger than 7/16. So that is less than. And then the last question is 24 over 32. So I've got two choices. I could either simplify this or I could expand this. I'm going to expand it because I'm going to pretend that I haven't noticed that I can simplify this. So I'm going to expand this to make 32 my denominator. Again, I've multiplied by 2 to get from 16 to 32. That gives me 20 over 32. So 24 over 32 is obviously more than. So I have 3 fractions that were less than 5/8. How are we doing for time? Right. Very, very quickly, just to finish off, just a little reminder about factors and multiples. So this is part 3, question 7. Often people get them muddled up, and tomorrow I'll do a little bit more explanation and we'll write them down. But just for now, I'm wondering if I can find an opportunity to get my pointy stick out one last time. Right. Let's have a go. So it's part 3, question 7, and the question was, is 18 a multiple of 6? So, whoops, if I'm writing out multiples of 6, remember the first multiple of 6 is always the number itself. It is 6. And then we're writing out the 6 times table, okay? So 6 times table, 6, 12, 18. And the question will normally tell you how many to write out. In this case, it just wanted to know whether 18 was a multiple of 6. And it is. And we'll talk a little bit more, as I say, just to remind ourselves of the differences between multiples and factors tomorrow. I think we're done. Thank you so much for your attention. This is my last one, just for you guys. So my multiples of 6, my 6 times table goes 6, 12, 18. I'm very excited about finding all sorts of different ways I can use my pointy stick. Okay, right, let's get those review questions up. Right, now my daughter, my cheeky 9-year-old daughter, is responsible for any comments that go out from me. I'm not sure what the clock means. Does it mean I'm late?
10:30.
Oh, I think she's telling me I've run late.
Yeah.
All right, so here are your review questions. I'll pop them on for a few seconds while you write them down. Okay, don't forget to pause the video so you can get those down. And then finally, if you could get one of these boards made up in your books, ready for tomorrow where we start. Remember, it looks like this now. So I'm going to clear that off and we're going to start again. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.